Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're pretty excited because Matt is going to be test running the newest Ayaneo 2 that finally has that Steam Deck competitor CPU.
Yeah, this is the Ayaneo 2. They sent it over along with this docking station, and I wanted to challenge myself with this device because I've been using the Ayaneo Next and the Ayaneo Air, really cool devices, but it just wasn't on the level of the Steam Deck. But now that they sent this multi-station dock, I'm going to see, can this replace my gaming PC at home? We're about to find out, but first, a word from today's sponsor.
Huge shout out to today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers fresh ingredients and easy recipes right to your door, taking the hassle out of mealtime. You can say goodbye to those extra trips to the grocery store and long checkout lines. With 40 weekly recipes to choose from, you can treat yourself and your family to new and exciting flavors every week. And the best part? Cooking with HelloFresh is so easy and fast. The pre-portioned ingredients and simple recipe cards make it a breeze to whip up restaurant quality meal in no time. Plus, with the fast and fresh line, you can have delicious home cooked meals on the table in just 15 to 20 minutes. Right now you can try HelloFresh for yourself and save big.
Go to HelloFresh.com and use code ToastyBros65 for 65% off.
And free shipping. That's 65% off your first box plus free shipping. I've been using HelloFresh for a week now and I have no idea why I waited so long. It's been a game changer for me, especially on the busy weeknights when I don't have a lot of time after I get home or I just want to relax. I've tried so many amazing recipes and I can't recommend HelloFresh enough.
So there you have it, folks. Make sure to check out HelloFresh.com and use code ToastyBros65 for 65% off and free shipping.
Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video.
So this is the Ayaneo 2, and we actually got the AMD Ryzen 7 6800U Sky White, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 2 terabyte SSD. Now, that's some pretty insane specs, but we're also looking at a pretty decent price. So we're looking at around $1,200 for this unit. I'm not even sure if this cost more or not, but
probably.
I mean, yeah, it probably does cost more, but we did get it. So the main goal though is just going to see how well this thing performs compared to the previous generations that had a couple issues here and there, and also just see, can it replace a full-fledged gaming computer?
Because if you're paying this much money for portability and it can actually do some performance as a docked PC, maybe this could be your only device. I personally don't think it's gonna work that well, but you know what? I'm gonna challenge myself and see what it can do. But you know what? Let's open it up and see what's inside. Now, yes, this device is significantly more expensive than a Steam Deck. The performance now is finally to the point where it pretty much performs like a Steam Deck. It does have a better display though. It does have a 1080p display. So you do have that versus a Steam Deck, which is a 720p-ish display. But yeah, you are paying a premium for these Ayaneo devices, but for the most part, they do deliver on some pretty good build quality when you actually open them up. It combines the Ayaneo Next, which was a really big form factor, with a lesser CPU, and the Ayaneo Air, which had a 1080p nice display. Kind of combines both of them and gives it a performance bump. So as you open it up, one thing we do like is their unboxing experience is normally pretty solid. So we got the Ayaneo 2.
It's a face mask.
Face mask. A bunch of instructions about the device, and we don't need instructions. Nah. What's that? Instruction manual? No, we don't need that. What is this?
It looks like instructions.
Oh, it shows you how to open it up and upgrade it, because I think I've seen some teardowns of this where this will allow you to, it comes with some stuff to open it up, basically an upgrade. We're gonna go ahead and open it up here, and there's the device, the Ayaneo 2. Now, we got the white version. It comes in a wide range of different colors, but feels very similar to the Next. So we have the same design, but it has this like glossy like covering all the way over it. Pretty nice. The screen has like no bezels from what I can tell, so it's gonna be really nice to see once we get it all set up. But that's the device. In terms of ports, we have a micro SD card for expansion, USB-C, which I think we'll be using a lot for the docking, a headphone jack. I'm gonna assume these are 2 stereo speakers. And on the top here, we have 2 more USB-Cs, a volume rocker, and a power button, which is also a fingerprint reader. We have these little triggers right here, which have always been really nice on the Ayaneo devices. I don't know what this is, RC.
Well, there's one on the other side too, RC and LC, like
maybe
left and right maybe?
It might be a programmable button that you can use in games, so that's actually kind of cool. Ventilation, again, very similar to the Next, not much different from the Next, has the same ergonomics, but yeah, pretty solid device. Now we're gonna go ahead and see what other accessories it came with. We got a charging, oh wow, this is just showing what it is. All right, here we go. Type A to C adapter, we have a power charger, we have a power converter, we have a handheld patch, whatever that means, a power converter, basically a bunch of power converters and power cables, and the included brick. This thing has 5 volt, 2.4 amps, so got that pretty standard. Then you have USB power delivery from USB Type-C for fast charging. Pretty much the same accessories. The main thing I'm interested in is this right here, which is their multi-station, which I'll take a look at real quick. It'll allow me to basically use this thing in a docking mode, so it could technically replace my PC. This is actually kind of cool.
Oh, it's an attachable.
So it is an actual dock. So there you go. They really off-white.
Wow, just one USB-C for that whole. That didn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. It seems very fragile. Yeah, I don't really like that.
Go the other way?
Go upside down. It still feels very fragile. I don't know how I feel about this. Oh wait, it moves like this, and then you lock it, but it's not very, I'll be honest with you, it's not very sturdy. I think it'll work. It's not very satisfying where it's gonna like really hold its place. It's just kind of like that. But I guess the idea is you move it back to adjust for your device, because it's a multi-stage, and I'm assuming it'll work with their other devices, USB-C, so it need to be adjustable.
It looks good now.
Yeah.
Before it was just like, it was coming all the way
I basically
up.
adjusted it to where it's leaning on this now,
yeah,
so
there we go.
that makes it better. So then on the back, we have another USB-C pass-through. We have 2 USB 3s, a charging plug. I'm assuming this is to charge everything, and then an HDMI and Ethernet. So pretty straightforward, pretty basic. So I'll be able to do keyboard and mouse, Ethernet, and one of my monitors. Probably won't be able to run dual displays, but that's fine. For the sake of this test, I just want to see how well it works as a dock system. This is gonna be different from the Toasty Bros video. We're gonna actually take a couple of days, actually use this, do some vlog footage about this thing being my PC replacement, and just see how it goes.
Several months later.
All right, guys, it has been well over a month since I switched from my gaming PC to the Ayaneo 2 as my primary gaming and work from home device. And I got a lot to talk about, but first we're gonna dive into some of the key specs of the Ayaneo 2 that you should know about. Now this thing rocks the Ryzen 7 6800U, which is an 8-core, 8-threaded processor, and a very capable one at that. We'll talk more about that later, but it also features the most important part, the Radeon 680M GPU, iGPU to be specific, which has 6 gigs of VRAM reserved for the Ayaneo itself. The 680M is what makes this thing more on par with the Steam Deck compared to other Ayaneo devices in the past that would use older Vega graphics. This thing right here with the 680M is able to play games better than the Steam Deck in some situations, and it really is a super capable GPU that allows this thing to be a device that can max out pretty much anything you throw at it. Now the model I have right here has 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, and it does come with a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD, along with this IPS display, a 1920 by 1200 display. It's not OLED or anything, but it's a very nice sharp IPS display that honestly I found was a major upgrade over any other Aya device out there. They even have the Ayaneo Air, which is a very compact device with an OLED display. We made a video on that one as well. Check that video out in the eye in the top right corner. But that one, even with an OLED display, I think doesn't look nearly as good as this IPS display. It actually looks really good. It's really bright, has nice colors, and pretty much anything I do on this thing, it looks really sharp. Now I have to get one thing out of the way. This device is $1,300, and when I say that, it doesn't sound as appealing, does it? Because we're talking about, oh, it's better than the Steam Deck, and that is true. It's better than the Steam Deck in terms of its performance, but compared to the base model Steam Deck, you're paying way more money. Steam Deck start at $500, and this thing, $1,300. If you're on a budget and you're not wanting to be on the cutting edge and pay the premium for the latest and greatest, then this device definitely isn't for you. And in all honesty, if I was choosing between a Steam Deck and this device, I would buy a Steam Deck. I don't want to spend $1,300 on a device because I've always loved the idea of using a portable setup. That being having, let's say, like a gaming laptop that you can take to work with you, work on, plug into, let's say, another setup at your office without a desktop, finish your workday, unplug it, take it home, plug it up to your setup here, and be able to game at home and then just keep moving the same device around. It'd be really cool if this thing could do that as well because it can be a workstation system with that 8-core, 8-threaded processor and 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, while also being my portable gamepad like a Nintendo Switch that plays PC games and emulation. I was using a gaming system with a Ryzen 7 5800X and an RTX 2080 Super, and yeah, that is a pretty capable system, but it's not like insane or anything. I'm not using like 13 Gen 13900K and a RTX 4090 or anything. It's a older system in terms of that, but it is a very capable system that I was very happy with. I was able to do some video editing on the side and everything else, but I took that off my desk and set up my Ayaneo 2 using the dock that you can buy. I highly suggest if you have an Ayaneo device to buy the dock from their website because it does give you stuff like Ethernet, some USB Type-C for eGPU support, which I won't be testing in this video, but let me know if you want to see some future videos about eGPUs with these things, along with a bunch of USB ports and the key and HDMI out, which allows me to use my single monitor right here, this Pixio PX7 monitor, which is a 1440p 165 hertz. Running through HDMI, I was only able to get 1440p 144 hertz, but Again, whatever, it worked just fine, and I was easily able to play some games at that native resolution in the docked mode. Now this is the point where I'm a little bit transparent here. I don't do a ton of gaming at home. At the time of recording this video, I'm actually working on trying to play some games more, get into Hogwarts Legacy and other games like that on my gaming PC, because I feel kind of bad. I'm just not utilizing it as much as I probably should. So I have been playing some games and having a good time doing that, but when I started this experiment, I wasn't doing much gaming, and when I did do gaming, I was using my older Aya devices to play emulation. But when I do try to play games, if I was playing like an esports title like Overwatch, for example, in dock mode, I was easily able to get a 100 plus FPS experience, close to high refresh rate, even at 1440p. Now that was with the automatic render scale enabled in Overwatch, so do take that with a grain of salt. I didn't feel like I was at a competitive disadvantage at all when using this in the docking mode playing some games, but the main thing that I used this for was work, and work worked really well. I was actually able to do the basic stuff that I do, emails, review YouTube videos, sometimes do some light editing. I didn't do any real editing on this. I did some, just taking a look at some project files and stuff, but everything was working fine. As you can see in my older setup, I actually redid my office at the end of this experiment. The setup just works fine. You're easily able to dock the Ayaneo in the docking station, have that single monitor set up, and you're easily able to do some work and get stuff done. And I didn't feel like I was not using this device. The only thing that was weird again was only having that one display out. Technically you can use the Ayaneo as a secondary display, but I wouldn't really do that. It's a very small display and you really won't get much done with this. Now, one cool thing you can do with the Ayaneo is mess with the power profiles. Now, Aya Space is the program that's installed on all these Aya devices that allows you to adjust the power profile depending on what games you're playing. For the most part, if you're gonna play a really high-end AAA title and you wanna max this thing out, you're gonna pick the 22-watt option in Aya Space. The battery life is gonna be great, but you're gonna get the maximum performance out of that 680M GPU. But if you wanna step it up a little bit more, you can go all the way up to 33 watts, which I rarely did because there really wasn't that big a performance difference when I actually did it, and the battery drain was pretty significant. But in docked mode, you might as well run 33 watts because you're getting a continuous charge through the Aya device, and it does give you a little extra performance, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, everything works great in docked mode, but what about taking the device off docked mode and using it as, well, the portable game console that it is? I had a great experience. I played a lot of games on this device, more games than I probably ever have. I played some Hogwarts Legacy, which actually worked out pretty well, and Cyberpunk were easily able to run very well, especially when you take advantage of AMD FSR, which is some upscaling technology that allows you to play at, let's say, that 1080p resolution and upscale from a lower resolution. So definitely take advantage of FSR if you're using one of these handhelds. I think that's the biggest game-changing tech out there right now when it comes to these handhelds is upscaling technology, so they don't have to put super crazy GPU horsepower in this thing. They can actually let AI do a lot of the work. Now, one thing I did have an issue with when I was telling you guys about that whole ecosystem I dream about where I could pick up a device, game a little bit, plop it down, maybe go to my office, plop it down, was Aya Space for some reason when I was using a 1440p monitor would stay locked at 1440p on Aya Space. There is an option on Aya Space that allows you to change the resolution of the device on the fly, but when it does come out of the dock after being used with a 1440p display, it doesn't go away. You need to restart Aya Space to fix that, so that's something to keep in mind. Just a little bit of a bug. It doesn't know when you unplug that you're going back to this display, so that may be an update at some point in the future that Aya can do. But really, that's the only problem I had with this thing. Honestly, if I just wanted to have a system that I could game on the go with and I did not have this gaming PC, I would most certainly consider a gamepad in the future. I would probably lean something like the Steam Deck, but the only downside with Steam Deck is you're rocking SteamOS. You don't get Windows. This is fully Windows 11 ready. You can do some modification to Steam Deck in Windows, I know, but for out of the box experience, this is definitely one of the best ones because of the Aya Space and Windows 11 combination. And as a portable handheld, I absolutely love this device. I have played so much emulation on this thing as well, not just high-end games that you saw with the benchmarks, emulations like Pokemon Platinum Renegade, which is a ROM hack that I was able to run around and play with for a long time, reliving my childhood a little bit. Absolutely love Pokemon games. I was able to play this easily for 3+ hours on a charge. With AAA titles, in terms of battery life, you're probably only gonna end up getting like 2 hours at most. But I did invest in a little portable battery bank for like 60 bucks on Amazon. If you wanna check the link down below, that allowed me to basically double my battery life if I do take this thing on the go. I haven't had an opportunity to really travel with this thing yet, but when I do, I'll let you all know how that goes on like a Toasted DIY video, because I think traveling with this thing, especially with a battery bank, will be the biggest test to see if this is something that I would use long term. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much my experiment here in terms of using this device as a workstation system alongside a gaming system at home, and then being able to pick it up, sit on the couch and play some games like Doom Eternal, some emulation, and a lot of other titles. I think is an absolute success. Now I'm gonna say once again, this is a $1,300 device. For $1,300, would I really go out of my way to buy this? Probably not. You can get a really good gaming laptop nowadays for $1,300 that actually comes with a keyboard, and you could live the dream that I've been wanting to live of having a setup at home that you can work on, take it to work, and whatever. But in terms of this device, I think if you do want to be on the cutting edge of the handheld gaming device market right now, this is one of the best ones you can get. This space is constantly changing, so if you spend $1,300 on this right now, I would not be surprised within like less than 6 months that Aya drops another device that's even more powerful. So buyer beware. Aya is really crazy about, well, releasing brand new devices like every couple of months just to keep going and going with the times. But yeah, it's a cool device, and for this experiment, it worked out really well. If you want to check out the Indiegogo for this Ayaneo 2, check the link in the description down below. Big shout out again to Ayaneo for sending this over. If you guys like this kind of experimental video, let us know down below. If you have any other experiment ideas, I'd be happy to try them. It was kind of fun having a long-term video. Most of the time we get stuff in the office, we use it for, let's say, a couple hours that day and give our impression. But it was really cool to have this thing in my house for over a month and then give you guys an actual review of how it fit into my daily life. And I really do think that you can replace a gaming PC with this, but I think the price is the one thing that's gonna hold people back from doing so. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to check out our other 2 YouTube channels and twitch.tv/ToastyBros. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Now, Jackson isn't here for this outro because, well, I kind of did this video solo. It was a little bit weird, but if you go over to PCBros.tech, you can actually pick up some of the older Ayaneo devices that I'm going to relinquish because I'm just that much in love with the Ayaneo 2. So go over to PCBros.tech, you can buy a portable game PC like an Ayaneo, or you can buy a full-fledged gaming system and just say, you know what, I don't care about portable consoles, I want a full gaming PC, and use code ToastyBros2 on checkout to save 2% on your next purchase. See you guys later, goodbye.